All right. It is coffee and crypto here. We have a special guest with us today, Dalton Grados from Grados Capital,
What's up?
and we got Rob over there as well.
What's
We're
going
just
on?
gonna we're just gonna be going through some of the news that's happened the past week and look at some charts and just discuss crypto and finance. So, Dalton, do you want to say anything? Introduce yourself, introduce your channel.
Yeah, so good to be back. I know we've done a couple of videos in the past. So my name's Dalton Grados. I'm a futures day trader. So I trade the equity markets, particularly the NASDAQ futures, S&P 500, Dow futures. So kind of stick to the traditional markets, but yeah, just here to kind of give some insight on. Today was kind of a big day with the Fed, and we could talk about that and get your insight on crypto.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we got Dalton on here, because he has a different insight, because he's trading stocks, equities, and just a different perspective, because you don't want to be too narrowly focused on one market. You want to have an overview of what's going on in all the markets and then have a collective opinion. So why don't we talk about the big elephant in the room, which was today's news of the Jerome Powell meeting. So what did you guys think of that?
Yeah, go ahead, Dalton.
Oh yeah, so I was trading. So the market rallied today after that news. Rallied really hard.
Did you trade it?
Yeah, we killed it today, and even like it went so hard, particularly the NASDAQ went like 400 points, which is a lot in the futures. If you're trading futures contracts, so I only got pieces of it as it was going up, but it was a great trading day, that's for sure. But I could show some charts here too in a second. But I mean, basically with the Fed, Powell is saying that he's basically saying we haven't reached our goals yet for inflation, but we may need to ease up the rate hikes come December. So I had December 14th as a key day marked in my calendar. That's the next rate hike. And so just to kind of recap for people listening, the Fed was supposed to hike rates by 75 basis points again on December 14th. So they've been doing that. And the 14th was going to be another 75 basis points. Now, with the most recent CPI inflation data suggesting that inflation has come down, so the rate hikes are working. So now investors are betting on just a 50 basis point hike, so 0.5%. And that's kind of what Powell basically hinted at today was, we're most likely going to ease the hikes. So still a rate hike, right? It's still going up, just not as much, right? So the markets are really happy about that. But if you'd like, I could just show you my screen and
Yeah,
kind of
definitely.
get into that. Very
Yeah.
simple, very, very short and sweet on my end. Let me go
ahead.
ahead.
While you pull that up, I'm just going to recap some of the notes. So Powell, smaller interest rate hike increases are likely ahead. It's not guaranteed. Smaller hikes could start in December. So it sounds like it may, but it also may not. Monetary policy likely to stay restrictive for some time until real signs of progress emerge on inflation, because there has not been a lot of progress. And then basically saying that they're going to stay the course on fighting inflation until the job is done, which the target is turning back to 2%. And then some of his comments made it seem like, he's still just, they're still just going by the seat of their pants and, just navigating like uncharted territories and, modifying as I go along. So some of his comments made it seem like, I guess they're doing their best, but they still don't really know exactly what they're doing and the effect it's going to have. And they can't really predict what the future is going to bring. So there's still a lot of uncertainty. All right, Dalton,
Yeah,
what do you got here?
yeah.
I see like
I mean,
like 5 charts.
yeah, and so it's such a balancing act too, right? No matter what the Fed does, it's like, they want to tame inflation, but if they do it too hard, they're going to crash everything. So it's such a balancing act, right? I mean, they're kind of screwed either way. But so just very simply, I just got my charts up here. So this is the S&P 500. These are all futures. So ES, NASDAQ futures, Dow futures, and some crude oil over here. The middle is just market internals that I use during the day. But these are weekly charts, right? So each one of these candles is a week. So this is real data. So this would be the start of 2022. And we're looking at big long-term data here. Basically, straight downtrends, right? Pretty simple to see. NASDAQ, ES, Dow is a little bit stronger, and it has been stronger the whole time. So the whole time we've been in a down market, we've seen NASDAQ, which is led by tech, as the weakest, and the Dow, which is led by energy and financials, be the strongest. So, if you're going to go long on anything, I've been going long on the Dow or, energy. If you're going to go short, tech has been short, and I would imagine crypto is kind of along with that. You kind of look at crypto almost like a tech stock, at least in the way that it behaves. So on the weekly charts, today we had this huge rally, but when you zoom out to these, we're just basically testing the top of this downtrend line. So on a technical basis, and the Dow is actually more bullish. The Dow is broken through. So on a technical basis, this is just what I'm watching, is basically if we break out of these downtrend lines. And even if you go to, the daily chart, you could see it a little bit more in detail, right? So that's pretty short and sweet. That's basically what I'm seeing. And see, even the NASDAQ, see what I mean by the relative weakness of the NASDAQ? It hasn't even quite touched the downtrend line yet on the daily. So just something to keep in mind.
All right, so question for you. So this is a little bit more technical for some of the viewers who are maybe not as technical, and they just want to know how they can make money right now. If you were to give a recommendation, whether that's go short, go long, or certain stock, certain market, where do you see opportunity right now to whether it's a good trade, a good buy and hold, where do you see opportunity right now, given everything that's just happened?
So I am pretty much just an intraday trader. Sometimes I'll do longer swings. I don't have any positions on currently, so that allows me to be objective. So I'm all cash, right? I day traded today. I'll day trade tomorrow. I don't have any swing positions on right now. But like I said, just look for relative strength and relative weakness, right? So tech has been very weak compared to energy has been pretty strong. So if you wanted to go long something, definitely the Dow Jones has broken out of its downtrend, and the stocks associated with it. So big industrial stocks, such as Boeing. You have the oil companies, Exxon, BP, things like that. That's what's been leading in terms of if you were looking to go long on anything. But we're still in a bear market, so a lot of it.
How do you feel about what Powell said today, and how does that affect your trading going forward? Any change to your strategy, or you're really just taking it on the daily and seeing what the opportunities are on the daily?
I pretty much stick to the intraday time frames for the most part. So I'm not looking at any swings right now. I know that the market's very happy over a reduced rate hike. So December 14th will still be interesting, because now we could just be pricing that in. And then when we get the news that we were looking for on December 14th, the 0.5% rate hike, the market could just fall back into downtrend again, because it was already pricing in that news, right? So the market's always looking ahead. So today, if we go to a daily chart, So this was today.
Mm.
This huge green candle that engulfs the past 3+ days. Like literally today went straight up and did more of a price recovery from the past week or more, right? So this could be the Fed move that is already happening. And when December 14th comes, it's like old news,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good point. I think that's a really good point because based off what Powell said today, there's still so much uncertainty. Inflation's still so high. They still really haven't done, much to take down inflation. So, I know people have mentioned, oh, the Fed's going to pivot. Basically, everything he said today, by no means indicating that they're pivoting. Like what does the word pivot mean? It means you're going to go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
Just taking the rate hike down slightly, in anticipation of like absolutely crashing the markets is not pivoting by any means. Like there's still such a long way to go. So I think anyone who says the Fed is pivoting based off what was said today, I think that's a bad call. I would not be expecting it to play out like that. I'm still very bearish in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that sentiment because, going along with what we just said, if today was the Fed move, which this is a big move, this would indicate what you would typically see on a Fed day. If this is pricing in the reduced rate hikes, well, then we're still at the top of the downtrend line, right, from a technical basis. So it could just be back down from here in terms of stocks. It's going to take a lot for this to really break out and go back to a bull market again.
Mm. That's cool. So you had a good day trading otherwise though?
Oh yeah. A
What
lot
did
of
you,
times,
like do you have like a percentage gain that you had for the day? Like it's like 5, 10, 15%, or like what'd you see today?
yeah. So I guess based on my drawdown, and I use leverage on top of that, but I guess based on the drawdown I have for the funded accounts, it was about a 20% gain on that drawdown, but on the full size account, it's like a 1% gain. If you can think of that, maybe that sounds complicated, but it was a good day nonetheless. When you're day trading, there's a lot of times you got to strike when the iron's hot. So you could kind of these days, these are all daily candles, right? These are kind of low range, for the most part, kind of choppy days. When you have a day like this, if you can get a piece of this, that can make your whole week, right? So it's been a lot of patience, just taking what we can through this rangy action, and then we had a big day today. So that's what it's all about, capital preservation first.
Yeah, that's huge in these markets.
Yep.
Capital preservation. What about you, Nick? Did you do any trading today with the Powell meeting and any of the volatility that happened?
No, I did not actually. It's probably shocking to hear.
I long Bitcoin going into it, so I had a
Did
nice
you
little
really?
trade. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, today looked like it was a good day. Like the markets were definitely hot. I'm definitely curious to see Dalton's opinion on the markets because there's so many mixed signals out there. I'm seeing so many patterns in the cryptos that are showing bottom, and then in the stock market, there's a lot of patterns showing very bearish things. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out in the next coming months. Yeah, I'm very confused right now as an investor and a trader.
Yeah, I think most people are. I think from what I've been reading, it's really good to stay mostly cash. And then we can get some really, as in terms of long-term investing, we can get some stocks at a really good steep discount. Probably still has into next year to drop down. We'll probably still be in a bear market. and this is just from various sources that I'm reading. So we can DCA into some stocks at low prices. And then when it comes to real estate, of course, real estate is typically delayed, right? So we still have a significant way down to come with real estate. It's only just beginning, right? So if you think about now, we're seeing lots of massive layoffs from, a lot of big companies, tech companies, even real estate companies, everything like that. So what follows layoffs is foreclosures. So
I've
only
actually
just
already
beginning.
seen some foreclosures out there here in the Tampa Bay area.
Yep.
I didn't see them a couple months ago. I'm starting to see them pop up. So it's just interesting. I almost want to share my screen and show you a chart of one of the cryptos I'm holding, and it's just hard to believe that it could go any lower because it's already taken back its entire bull move, and it's like at the same prices that it was before the bull run in 2021. So that's like why I'm kind of getting mixed signals. Like I could see like where the stock market is, how we could fall from here because the me very bearish things. But for some of the stocks that have already taken 90%, or for some of the cryptos that have already taken 90% hits, it's like are we already at the bottom? Like what's going to happen? That's why I'm so confused.
Do you see the EU was flooding Bitcoin today?
No, I did
They
not.
said, let me pull up the comment.
They're
They
fighting it,
said-
so they're looking to regulate it, or?
The European Central Bank said the apparent stabilization of Bitcoin's value is likely to be an artificially induced last grasp before the crypto asset embarks on a road to irrelevance, claims the European Central Bank. So we have that. We have Kraken laid off 30% of their workforce today. And a couple months ago, when there was some crypto headlines going on and the exchanges and the CEOs and stuff, the CEO came out and was saying how they had a strong company and they're actually hiring while everyone else is firing. And then a couple months later, they're laying off 30% of their workforce. So that happened, and then today, Telegram announced that they're working on launching a crypto exchange and non-custodial wallets. So I thought that was pretty interesting because Telegram's very up and coming messaging app. It's got bots. You can do chat groups. They're having you can almost do like a chat forum in there now. You can do live streams. So it's pretty cool to see how they're going to be integrating crypto into the app. So that was a little bit of crypto news. And then you have Sam Bankman-Fried, the FTX former CEO who nuked everything. He was doing a live stream call with the New York Times. I think it was the Book Deal Summit. So did you guys see any video clips from that on what he said and what was going on there?
No, I didn't. Dalton, did you?
I haven't been following it too closely. I know, he's basically kind of running around doing his own thing, and he made so many generous political donations that it's hard to say if he'll ever, face charges or get nearly the punishment that he should for what he did. To pivot a little bit though, in terms of crypto and in general, I think it's starting to appear very accurate what Nick said. Nick, I don't know if you said this on a YouTube video or maybe it was just us off camera, but you were talking about how it was like the dot-com bubble, where you had this explosion of the internet. All these, anything with .com in the name was just getting bid up in the stock market. And then like 98% of that all failed. And then you had some survivors like Amazon, right? Things like that. So that's going to be kind of like what's happening now, I feel like, with crypto.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's like the exchanges. I mean, all these exchanges and funds exploded. These Ponzi's exploded. These crypto projects where they just weren't strong projects. The developers have moved on. So yeah, only the strong projects will survive.
I've got faith in Binance. Everyone was out there footing. What was his name?
CZ.
CZ. Everyone else out there fudding him because he was making large transfers trying to verify his wallets, and they were thinking he was just transferring everything to his personal wallet to get out.
Well, the FUD is why the FUD was a professional auditor would not need you to move around funds like that. That was a speculation.
Yeah, that's true. That would be. I would be very shocked if Binance, like the same thing that happened to FTX, happened with Binance. Because CZ is just such a. I don't know. I never trusted SBF. He looked kind of squirrely to me.
You see all those memes coming out, like, why does everyone associated with FTX look like a meth addict or something like that?
It's because they were ripping amphetamines and having sex orgies all day. And then he was playing League of Legends while on the call with investor meetings and trading investor funds.
Oh my
Jeez.
gosh.
Yeah.
I can't
It's just like
believe
so
it.
many red flags now that you look at it.
He was using a transdermal patch that was just pumping amphetamines into his bloodstream all day long. And there were some interviews he was doing where he was like kind of shaky. And people always questioned that and made fun of him because he always had the shakes in an interview. So now it kind of makes sense because he's just buzzed on amphetamines all day.
What do you think about Tom Brady losing $200 million with FTX?
I thought it was like north of 500 million.
Well, that just he lost that. I think his wife also lost like 250 million. And there's speculation that that's why they are going through a divorce now. And she's like off on some island with some other dude.
Wow.
Yeah,
So that's how much they put into one thing. Because I saw the articles that it's like their whole fortune is like around 650 million. So they were trying to see how much of it was involved. So you're talking that much of it was just into that one project. I mean, yeah.
So
I mean that. Oh, go ahead.
The rumor was that she was on some island with like the Suns jiu-jitsu coach or something like that.
Yeah.
So she's like banging the Suns jiu-jitsu trainer.
So actually, the reason I was not trading the last couple of days was its fallout from FTX. I was trading this other coin on KuCoin a few days ago called I think it's UBXT or something like that, because it had like a massive like 300% pump, and I'm like, I'm gonna jump in on this action. And the next morning, the thing got delisted because they were associated with FTX. Like they had some other coin on FTX, and they're doing a coin swap. So KuCoin delisted them. And
But why would they delist them? What's the reason behind that?
Because they're doing a coin swap. They're trying to recover. Like they basically loaned like 20% of their tokens to FTX, and FTX never returned them. So they're basically trying to create a new token, burn the ones that like basically you get a 1-for-1 transfer of the new token.
Yeah,
and then they're going to burn the new tokens that FTX is holding and only have the ones that are on the. Does that kind of make sense?
What about the value that's locked up in FTX?
Well, all of the old tokens are going to become worthless because they're only putting liquidity on like PancakeSwap and Uniswap for the new token to be traded. So the other one is going to become completely worthless. But that I'm kind of stuck in that right now. Like I moved a lot of my funds into that trade, and then it got delisted. So I'm kind of waiting to get the new token. That's why I couldn't really trade anything the last couple of days.
Wow. Yeah, that kind of, my perspective being mostly just an intraday trader is, whatever you're trading, it's like there's like a saying, like we trade them, we don't marry them, right? And I feel like that can help people specifically with crypto too, because there's a lot of this, for lack of a better term, like cultish behavior in some of these crypto projects where people, we just believe, right? We just believe, and that's great. That's good if it's a solid thing and you believe in that it's going to be successful. That's great. But maybe a smart thing to do would be to, spread your funds across multiple, kind of spread it out across everything. And because at the end of the day, you don't know, right? Nobody knows anything in the markets. And the ones that think that they do, Jim Cramer, are usually wrong, right? So if you you believe in something, that's great, but also for the investor, spread your funds out across a multitude of projects. Kind of going back to the .com bubble, analogy. If you just invested in everything, and then you obviously you had some in Amazon, and you had some in all these other things that failed, but the one that succeeded paid for the rest, right?
Yeah, we talked about this in one of our, I can't remember if it's one of our course videos or if it's on one of our older YouTube videos, where we said the exact same thing. Like, one of these things is going to go 2,000, 3,000%. And if you just spread your money across 10 of these things and 9 of them go to zero, you're still going to make money if that one just goes. So that makes a lot of sense. I get it. And I was not married to UBXT. That was just a trade. And I just happened to wake up in the morning and it said on KuCoin my account value was 0. And I'm like, wait, what? and they were like going through the transition. They did allow me to transfer the coins out to go through the swap. So I'm just kind of waiting until tomorrow for that to happen.
That's
But
crazy. So what, you transfer the coins out and then you got to upload your wallet to the site so they know that you have the coins, and then they just airdrop you the new ones? Is that how it works?
Well, you could do it 2 ways. I actually just transferred I created an account on that. Actually, when I looked more into it, that site is actually pretty interesting. It's called UpBots is the name of the token. And their website allows you to use APIs to create bots on there, and then you can trade on Binance, you can trade on KuCoin, and use their bots or use other people's bots to trade for you. It's a pretty interesting concept because not a lot of people know how to like create their own bots to do trading for them. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there like that in the traditional markets, but there's not a lot of stuff like that out there for crypto, and I think that's kind of their niche. But I'm not going to marry myself to this coin. I'm getting out as soon as the coin swap happens.
Where can you sell it if you can't on KuCoin?
On PancakeSwap or Uniswap on DeFi exchanges.
So it's a Binance Smart Chain coin?
No, it's an Ethereum token. But they do have a Binance Smart Chain bridge where you can do it on PancakeSwap as well. And I don't want to get into a 30-minute discussion on how DeFi exchanges work on this call, but but that's kind of the general gist of that token and where you can trade it.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that airdrop. Hopefully it's not a rug.
Yeah.
Why don't we close out with the Bitcoin chart so we can see the action of today, and then we give our predictions and then wrap it up. Want to pull up a chart, Nick?
Give me 1 second. Oh my gosh, I got the UpBots chart up there. I actually kind of want to show that chart because it was very interesting. They may not actually let me look at it because
I'm reading a quote from Sam Bankman-Fried on today's interview. He says, quote, "I don't personally think that I have criminal liability. I think the real answer is that's not what I'm focusing on. I mean, look, I've had a bad month."
Like totally oblivious to the fact that he's probably going to have a bad rest of his life.
Yeah, he's pretty shot. But
all right, I'm just gonna
in the Bahamas.
Let me share. Hold on, give me 1 more second. I guess I didn't have any charts prepared for this because. All right, here we go. Wow. Okay, Bitcoin's looking good. Let me share my screen if I can find out where we were. Here we go. Boom. You guys can see my screen?
Yep.
All right. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. So you can see definitely we've broken out of this bear flag. It doesn't look like a bear flag to me anymore. This entire move right here was the FTX scandal going on. And we were talking before in our last video how this looked like a bear flag and it could kind of consolidate around here and then break down even further. And if I zoom out even more, I can show you the levels of support and resistance based off of the volume by price. That's one of my favorite indicators. I don't know if you've used this one, Dalton, but it shows the volume on the right-hand side instead of on the
Yep.
bottom. So
Oh
it'll,
yeah.
it'll tell you areas of support and resistance based on like levels of interest.
Right.
So,
More like where the most volume was traded. Yeah.
Mhm.
Volume profile.
so I mean, if this rally continues into the end of the year, which at least in the crypto markets, it looks like this is more likely than not. We come up here to the $19,000-$20,000 range. Unless I'm completely wrong, then our support down here would be down around 12 to 13,000. So we're actually at 17,200, which is a lot higher than I was expecting it to be today.
Yeah, and then we'll see what happens with the Asia session in about 30 minutes from now.
Yeah, we could just be coming up here and retesting these December 2017 highs, which is right around the same range as this resistance that I was telling you guys about. So most likely scenario coming to the end of the year is we come back up and test these resistances, and depending on the news and the narrative at that point, but it's more likely than not that it's going to roll over and come down and test this before this bear market's over. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Good stuff. All right, I think cover a lot here. We have the Powell notes today. We had Sam Bankman-Fried, got some quotes from that, some funny little tweets, some crypto-related news, stocks, crypto. Anything else you guys want to wrap up with?
I think that's it. We covered a lot.
Yeah, we've covered a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of good insights, a lot of good perspectives, and reason why we're bringing you this content is so you can shape your own narratives and perspectives, and give you the education and insights for your investing, and for you to create your wealth with your investing strategy. So I think we'll wrap it up there. That was a good call. Thanks for coming on, Dalton.
Yeah, hold on.
Yes, and none of this is financial advice.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, do your own research before investing your hard-earned money, guys.
It's financial content, not financial advice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dalton, with Grados Capital.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
All right.
You guys
We'll see you guys later.
See ya.